Welcome back to iFish News, fishing podcasts, where you learn to fish by our trials and errors. And I'm your host, Glenn, from City Valley Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube. And this round, we just got some weekend updates from this past July 4th weekend. Specifically, what we're talking about? New Braunfels. Oh, we had a fun time over there, as well as hitting the Guadalupe River, and then also stopping by Green for a little margarita or two, as well as picking up some fly fishing patterns that we only seem to be able to pick them up at the Gruene Outfitters. Okay, so let's go right into it. Start out with New Braunfels. Had a fun time over there. Initially, we're going to try fishing Faust Street Bridge. It's a nice bridge that we've seen in the past, and intending to fish it, several years back. And I thought we had an opportunity here, but because of the park closure, weren't able to do some fishing there. But we did get some nice video, or at least an idea of what the water conditions are like. And you can see that it's flowing, but not as near as fast as it normally is from a Guadalupe River standpoint over there by Faust Street Bridge. But that said, we're able to go run up the road a little bit down to, or up to Landa Park and fish the Comal River. A couple places that we fished there. One was initially at one of the parking areas that has a nice, good water flow and some nice looking bass. Unfortunately, none of them want to strike our lure. Had a couple take a look at what we were fishing, some various fishing flies and whatnot, but none of them really committed. And then we went further up over there by Founders Park. I had the wading pool or wading area closed where a lot of the kiddies normally play, but luckily just a little bit upriver, I guess. From that location, we're able to do a little fishing there. And when we say a little bit of fishing, spent about, good 3 hours in about 100-degree weather trying to get a couple of bass to hit. Actually, it was 6-7 bass lurking underneath the bridge. We're able to get some long-ear perch as well as some bluegills to hit. Actually even landed one. And then we just shifted our focus to those bass. And we tried all kinds of different things, but it all boiled down to a strike indicator with about 3 to 4 feet from it, a Guadalupeana. That's the Guadalupeana that we tie that was originally developed by Lefty Chavez, who made this fly to simulate, be it fish and whatnot that are in the river. And it looks like those bass do like that fly. So try out the Guadalupeana. The version that we tie is on a size 8 or size 10 hook. So not as big as the original. But it is an effective lure, at least this round, even though it was really hot and the bass weren't biting. Little strike indicator floated very, very slowly in the current, and we were able to get at least that one. All right, so that was New Braunfels from a fishing standpoint. Faust Street Bridge was closed. Landa Park, Comal River, good to go there. And then the Guadalupeana being the key fly under a strike indicator. All right, so the next thing that we did, hit the Guadalupe River. And what we learned from there, from a Guadalupe River standpoint, was no tubing, at least rentals. What you could do is make arrangements with the various tubing rental companies and gain access to the river. You had to bring your own tube, and pretty much you were paying for access to go in the river as well as to go out the river. And so some of our party took a look at Rockin' R, and we were able to, I think it was like $20 per person. They'd come in at Rockin' R over there by Green and end up further downriver, I think at double Rockin' R. And it was about a mile distance, but it took about 3 hours because it was so slow. Did bring your own tubes. Other than that, you were good to go. We did think about going to Rio Raft and do some fishing up there. Unfortunately, we got sidetracked, ended up going to a different private access place where we came in just south or downriver of Mountain Breeze Park. And we ended up having a fun time over by Mountain Breeze. Ended up having a fun time going up about a mile upriver to the third crossing, taking some kayaks out, and even stopped to do a little fishing here and there, and got bass and a few perch or bluegill. But it was very crowded. But I believe is near as crowded as it normally is, especially on a 4th of July weekend. Fun times to be had, and did have to do a lot of portaging, or at least wading through the water to get to where we were going, at least up to the third crossing. So from a Guadalupe River standpoint, key things: tubing, you can do it, just had to bring your own tube. You were paying for river access in and out. And then kayaking standpoint, I do anticipate doing a little portaging or dragging your kayak along the river. Also, from a fishing standpoint, one of the key items there was probably could have got more if we fished this one section that it's about, I think it was about maybe 3 feet, 4 feet deep. Other than that, we're kind of fishing a riffle rapid area, and we're able to get little bass as well as a little perch and whatnot. But the key there was we were using a spoon and scud rig to get them to strike. Didn't bring any fly rods. We're just kind of going light because we didn't know where we were headed or what we were doing or what the access was going to be like, since there were a fair amount of people that were in the area. Spoon and scud rig was key. Spoon didn't have any hooks. We were just using it just to get weight to get that scud out there, and we were using an ultralight fishing rod with about 4-pound test. Also, we used rooster tail, a little light rooster. I think it was like a 1/4 or 1/8 ounce, and it was pretty much casting downriver or at an angle, letting it drift down the river, and then we just slowly bring it back, making sure that the spinning blades were spinning. And oh, by the way, got a hit. At least I got that one bass, and then had several others, although they were small, kind of nipping at it. So the fish were there, just not big enough to really commit, or at least to hook up on that rooster tail. Okay, and then green. So the things about green that we like, well, one, the fajitas. Stopped at Cantina Del Rio, and the fajitas were tasty. The margaritas were cold and tasty as well. And oh, by the way, since we do have a weakness for margaritas, ended up going to the Grist Mill as well and having some margaritas there, along with some to-go chips and salsa. They were offering some salsa that you could purchase by the pint, be it in a mason jar or put in a plastic container and take that with you. So we definitely took advantage of that and headed back to the casa for our own salsa and chips with our evening meal. Gruene Outfitters. One of the main things that we do when we go stop at Gruene, always like stopping over there at Green Hall, but unfortunately it was closed. We're thinking about going to the Green River Mill restaurant, where they have some Mexican martinis that are very awesome. Limit yourself to 2, though. They are very strong. However, we ended up getting sidetracked with margaritas at Grist Mill. And, of course, gotta stop at Gruene Outfitters and check out the latest patterns and whatnot, as well as picking up a few patterns. One of the patterns that we definitely like is a Bennett's Lunch. Kind of tough to find other places where they offer them. So every time we stop by Gruene Outfitters, we usually try and stock up with them. So we ended up picking up a variety pack of 6, some really good flies. Haven't tried tying them ourselves, or myself. May do that later if I end up in a bind, but right now I've got 6 in the box, so we're ready to go. So plan is, although we're no longer at the Guadalupe, we'll probably hit up our local area up here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and maybe see if we can get some more striped bass and bass to strike. That one that we had beaten up over the years has been a striped bass getter for us over there at Denison Dam. Well, we've got a full box now, so we'll be ready to go next round. All right, so all for now. Again, just to recap, weekend updates. New Braunfels, Foul Street Bridge, Landa Park, Comal River. Do have some fun there, but do note that Foul Street Bridge is closed, at least the park area, so you can't get access to the river. And then when you do anything with the Guadalupe River, you're really paying for in and out access at the various outfitters, since tubing rentals are closed, but you can tube the river if you bring your own tube. And that's kayaking is still a potential. And then lastly, when you do some fishing, if you don't bring any fly rods, do keep that spoon and scud rig or spoon and fly tandem rig handy, so you can maybe get a fish or 2 with a fishing fly if that's what they're going to be striking on. And it doesn't hurt to have a few rooster tails as well. And then lastly, Green Outfitters, Grist Mill, margaritas, Cantina Del Rio, fajitas and margaritas. Those are always a good sure bet for some tastiness, as well as some fish getters when it comes to some fishing fly patterns over there. Green Outfitters and that Bennett's Lunch pattern. Okay, so all for now. Do stay tuned over the course of the next few. We'll probably be doing various things. Some things that we want to try doing is we're continuing on with our gulp garlic marinade testing, as well as some underwater live bait action shots. And recently, we lost our water wolf camera last year, and been trying to replace it and using what we had, which is some old GoPro Hero cameras. And oh, by the way, just the light isn't working too well down there. So I ended up taking the plunge and ordered a Go Fish camera. This is one that has a wireless capability, so that as it's floating on the surface, you can still run it to your phone and have a look at what's down there real time, as well as just forget the wireless capability and get it down to you want to. It's got some LED lights and whatnot, so we hope to get some better action shots like we used to do with the Water Wolf camera. So we're excited about that Go Fish camera that'll be coming in here in the near future. And oh, by the way, there's a 2-year loss, no questions asked. Basically, if you lost your Go Fish camera, the extra few, and over the course of the next 2 years, you don't have to worry about losing it. They'll replace it for free. So we're really excited about that as well, since we did lose our Water Wolf camera. Other things, we still need to try this popper fly over there at Duck Creek Linear Park. Seeing some nice looking bass over there, just unfortunately they don't want to hit the foam spider. They don't want to hit the foam grasshopper. They do seem to want to hit something bigger. So we're going to bring some poppers with us, and maybe that might get them to strike hopefully here in the near future. Also, we did our micro fly rod demo, where we had the podcast or the Practicaster, as well as a Reddington Form practice rod, and put some some lightweight reels, a 2, 3, and a 4 on them, and have been really, really pleased with what we had with those things. So we'll probably do some more micro fly fishing as we go out and about in our things that we do from a fishing related standpoint. Also, Denison Dam. So we learned some things about shad. We put the question to Texas Parks and Wildlife about getting frozen shad and how you can take it from one lake to the other, and got some guidance there. So over the course of the next few, we'll probably do some cast netting, maybe catch some shad, freeze them, and be ready for another trip up there to Denison Dam. Hopefully to get some of those gar, maybe stripers that have been that we've been seeing up there, or at least had an attempt to get a few. Also, from a kayaking standpoint and kayak fishing, this time of year we tend to do more kayaking than at our local lake, Lake Lavon. So we'll probably do some of that here in the near future. Maybe a little jug lining, maybe a little trolling. Who knows? We've got that Go Fish camera. Maybe we'll just troll it behind us and see what chases it. So do keep that in mind over the course of the next few. So do check back with us. We're probably going to be doing a lot of different things, and hopefully these are some things that you want to come take a look at. Lastly, the Bennett's Lunch, as well as there's a scorpion pattern that we're thinking about trying to take out and on the fly rod and see if we can get something to strike, be it a striped bass or a bass on that Bennett's Lunch, as well as the scorpion, which is for carp. So we're thinking maybe we might try getting a few of those to take the line. All right, so appreciate y'all joining today. We do plan on doing some other things, be it our product reviews, some of our blogs that we do related to, maybe some tasty margaritas, as well as some tasty food. And then, by the way, when that Go Fish cameras come about, we'll probably do some more underwater videos and get those action shots. So appreciate y'all joining. And if you like what we're doing, do like and subscribe at City of Adams Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube, as well as do check us out at iFish News, the Fishing News podcast. All right, next time we'll catch you later, and good luck and good fishing.